Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. The topic for today is advice to new collectors. Now, before I start, I completely got this idea from Regie Collects because I recently saw his video titled either exactly as I just said or similarly, and I thought it was a really good video. It was an 8-minute video and it was nothing but great advice. He made a lot of great points and it was all positive, and that inspired me to kind of echo some of the things that he said in his video and put my take on it as well. So, that's why I'm making this video. Now, before I get to all that, I have my own points and all that stuff. Like I said, some of them touch up on what Reggie said. You should definitely go check out that video. It was really good. Again, largely for the positive message in it, because sometimes there's so much negativity in this hobby and all hobbies too when it comes to influencers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, or whatever. But before I get to any of that, I wanted to thank all of you for watching my videos. I know some of you have been watching me for years and you always watch a video. I've been trying to be consistent since May, posting a new video every Monday. Sometimes I post another video, a second video on Wednesdays and Thursdays. A lot of times I save those type of videos for, just talking about certain comics and showing some comics. But I might do a few more of those, but I will continue to try to put a new video out every Monday. So thank you for those of you that have been watching me for years, and thank you to all the new people that have been following me and commenting. I really appreciate it. So now let's get to the actual subject of this video. Tips for new and old collectors in this hobby. I mentioned in my last video, which was a CGC unboxing video, the modern tier one. And before I showed the books, I was talking about how I've noticed there's like so much negativity in some of the YouTube videos. And sometimes I'm guilty of that too, so I don't necessarily want to point the finger too much at everybody else. Sometimes I try not to be, although sometimes it does creep in. But I'm trying to be more positive. I hope I've been doing a good job. But I have noticed that, I click on this video, I click on that video because of the title or whatever, and there's so much negativity. And I mentioned that in the last video. Oh, comic books, comic books are worthless, all that stuff. And I've given you my take on that in the last video, so you could watch that and get what I said there. But I think it's important, and I wanted to make this video, like I said, in response to Reggie, to highlight, some of the positive things, especially for those of you that are new to the hobby, because we do need new people in the hobby. That's one of the things. I mean, we're happy to have all our old timers. Like I'm a Gen X old timer, and we still have some boomers. And I think there are a decent amount of millennial collectors, but we need more people in the hobby to keep it thriving. So I want to encourage people. Sometimes people, they'll see those negative videos who are not obviously Gen X, maybe not even millennials, but Gen Z and other generations, younger crowds, young teens that are thinking about getting into comics. Maybe they saw a cartoon, they saw action figures, because that's how I got into a lot of this too. I mean, I really started getting into X-Men because of the animated series in 1993, but also the new Toy Biz figures that were coming out by then. And I said, maybe I should take a look at these. And of course, ultimately the Marvel Masterpiece cards that came out. So it was a bunch of different things. But I didn't get into collecting Marvel comics and superhero comics because I saw Marvel comics on the stand or at the local drugstore. I got into them because of cards. I got into them because of toys. I got into them because of TV animated shows. And I think that's what a lot of newcomers are coming into the hobby. They see maybe Invincible. They really like Invincible. And other shows. They like the Marvel movies, even though some of the Marvel movies haven't been good. And they're interested in doing a little bit more research. And hey, where do these things come from? What comic books? I like to read that comic book. We need new people in the hobby, and it's important to spread positivity to these newcomers and to the old timers too that are in this hobby. So that's why I want to do this video. All right. Hopefully I can help you. Maybe I can. Maybe I can't. All right. So I came up with 4 points that I'm going to discuss. Are there more than 4 points? Absolutely. I think, again, watch Reggie's video. He could probably make his points better than me. And there are probably other people out in the hobby that I don't, on YouTube, that I don't even know about, that have a lot of positive messages. And you can leave their names in the comments and I'll check them out. Okay. So for me, and this is, I think, something that Regie touched up on too, and I've said this in previous videos when it comes to this subject, when it comes to new collectors, and even some of us old collectors, like this is something that I've been going over. I'll give you examples. You got to find your own way. Point number one. See if I can put it down here. Find your own way. Getting into the hobby can be very overwhelming because there's so much out there. You have all the publishers. You have Marvel, DC, Image, some others out there like Dark Horse, and so forth. And so many characters, both on film, TV, and not. So sometimes it can be a little overwhelming and discouraging for many different reasons. All right. What you have to do is you got to find your own way. You can listen to some advice for some people, but you really, and this is a point that Regie made, you really need to listen to your own inner voice. You got to sometimes go out there and figure things out. A lot of times when people say when you graduate high school and you go into college, yeah, you have an idea of what you want to do. Of course, you should, right? You don't want to go completely like not knowing what you're doing, but sometimes you discover things along the way, other things, many good things. And it's the same thing with comics. You know, what do you like? Now, for me, I'll give you my examples. I used to collect a lot of different things. All right. I would have a decent amount of DC, Marvel, and all this other stuff. But after a while, where I'm at right now, I decided I didn't really need all that anymore. So I got rid of some of the things that I no longer felt I wanted. And I held on to the things that I wanted. Or I upgraded things that were in my collection that were lower grade for a while. I maybe brought them up to a mid-grade book, or I brought them up to a high-grade book. So that's just the natural progression of the hobby for me. But the point is, for those that are like just, I don't know where to go, find your niche. If you like Invincible, work on Invincible. If the books sometimes are a little too expensive for you to get, like Invincible #1 or whatever, you could get some of those trade paperbacks and maybe one day work your way up to getting an Invincible #1. You don't have to jump out of the gate and get a 9.8. You could start with maybe something lower, whatever it is for you. I originally had Invincible #1. I had a 9.0 years ago. I had sold it because it's not really something that I wanted to focus on anymore. So it was time for me to get rid of it. I had wished I had held on to it for a few more years and made more money on it, but that's, neither here nor there. But the point is, find what you like and stick with it, because it will be so much more enjoyable, so much more fulfilling for you. Now, for me, like I said, I'm trying to downsize more. I've been downsizing, but I mainly concentrate what I like to do. I like to collect X-Men. I like to collect Spider-Man. I like to collect EC Horror and Atlas Precodes and some other precode companies. That's what I focus in on. A little bit of DC, not so much. I remember I had a comment months ago when I did my top 25 comics in my collection as of 2025. Someone says, oh, I'd like to see a top 25 of your DC. I don't think I have a top 25 of DC because I simply don't collect as much DC. What I pretty much have with DC is Batman stuff, Batman related stuff. And that's pretty much it. There's a couple other things, but nothing really that big. And although that may seem like a lot, and it can be, but it's very enjoyable for me to collect a new book from those. Now, very rarely, I don't think there is a new X-Men book I can get because I pretty much have them all. It's just basically upgrading them. And it's pretty much the same thing for Spider-Man too. The only new Spider-Man book I would need is Amazing Spider-Man 1. But as for that, I have all the major Spider-Man keys from his first appearance in Amazing Fantasy 15 down to Mr. Negative or whatever. All right, but that's what I find joy in, and that's what I stick with. Number 2, don't pay too much attention. Don't pay too much attention to FOMO or the films as much. Or the TV shows. If you like the films, whether it's the DCU or the MCU or the TV series, that's great. And that's what gets you into the hobby. That's great. But I wouldn't spend too much time chasing books that are the next hot book. FOMO, fear of missing out. I remember when Ultron was going to be in Avengers 2. Everybody was getting Ultron. When Jane Foster was going to be Thor in Love and Thunder, everybody was trying to get Jane Foster stuff, especially that What If 10. And it drove the prices up these books tremendously. Now, it also drove up the prices of some of the bigger books too, like Thor and Loki and all that stuff, and those are a little different. But try not to get too caught up in it, because a lot of times, if not most of the time, a lot of those FOMO books, they go down, especially if they're a villain book. I mean, I've mentioned this, I shared this on this channel, the What If 10, What If Jane Foster became Thor. People were going nuts for that book for a while and paying a lot for it, because that book previously didn't go for that much. It had its fans, just as any what if story. But it really wasn't going for that much until that movie was announced. And then people were paying crazy prices. And then after the movie, whether you liked the movie or not, whether the movie was a success, moderate, or big success or not a success, that book plummeted. And it just wasn't worth it. And sometimes, and the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes some new collectors will chase a book like that. And then when it plummets, I mean, you can't ignore the value, because you're spending a certain amount to get that book, right? Unless you wind up paying nothing for it, then it's a non-issue. But if you're spending a lot of money on FOMO and then the book goes down, you get discouraged. Maybe you shouldn't have spent that much. Maybe you got yourself in a little bit of a bind. And that's when sometimes new collectors and old collectors too, they throw their hands up in the air like, oh, this hobby sucks. Blah, blah, blah. You got to learn to ignore that. They're talking about the new Avengers. They're talking about, as of right now, Star-Lord's going to form a new team. Everyone's specking on that. I don't care what team it is. I don't care if they say it's definitely going to be this. I don't want the book. I want nothing to do with it. I still stick with the series, the genres that I mentioned in my first point. I upgrade X-Men. I upgrade Spider-Man. I upgrade EC horror. I upgrade and look for more Atlas pre-code horror. That's it. Every now and then I'll dabble into DC, but it's to upgrade or to add a book that I've always wanted. Like maybe I want the first appearance of the Penguin. I don't care about Mr. Terrific or Guy Gardner or whatever, those things. No, I'm not saying anything negative about those characters, but just because they're in a movie or they're going to be in a TV series, like, oh, I better start getting them. I could not care less if I missed the boat on Guy Gardner or any other character. It's just not interesting to me. So be very careful about FOMO and letting the movies dictate your next big purchase. If it's just something that you're not really passionate about, I would avoid it. I would avoid it because it can lead to frustration. And people get frustrated in this hobby very quickly, as what I've been seeing as of late. You want to be in it for the long run. You want to make wise decisions. You want to enjoy it. You want to keep it alive and fresh for long periods of time, like some of the old timers and myself. This is good advice to follow then. Don't let FOMO get in the way. Third point, I have 4 points. Third point I want to make to you is, and I kind of touched up a little bit on this, don't listen to all the noise. And what I mean by that is all the negativity that you may find online. And I've talked about this, and if you're into the hobby, whether it's comic books, you see games in the background. I also like collecting horror movie stickers. It's another one of those little things I collect. And a bunch of other things. I'm in it because I like it. I'm passionate about it. Does that mean that sometimes I may overpay for something? Sure, we all do. You don't want to do that too often, right? Because you still want to be cognizant of finances and stuff like that. You don't want to dig yourself into a hole. But I'm in it because I like it, all right? And I don't want to be boggled down with all the people that maybe are just negative in general. They may not just be negative about comics or other hobbies. They're probably negative in their lives in some way or another. Maybe not everybody, but most of them, I would say so, psychologically speaking. So don't let that bother you. Also, I mentioned this in the last video, there's a lot of negativity about people that want to get stuff graded. Oh, graded books don't make money, graded books don't sell, grading is a scam, all that stuff. Again, that's noise. If you bought, or if you're looking to get the first appearance of The Punisher and you want a nice grade for it, you can get whatever you want. You want it raw because you want to look through it, you do that. You don't want to do that, you could always look through it through a reprint, but you want to get it in the CGC slab or some other type of slab, you do that. Don't listen to somebody saying, oh, you shouldn't get that thing raw, or you shouldn't get that thing graded. It's meant to be read. It's a comic book, a video game, an action figure, a sports card, sneakers, whatever collectible you're into. When you buy it, it's meant for you to do what you wish with, period. Whether you want to have it graded, whether you don't want to have it graded, whether you want to flip through it, whether you want to wear those sneakers, whether you want to open those action figures, whatever it is. Now, you make the best decision for you. You weigh in all of the benefits and consequences of those things. But it's meant for you to do what you wish with, period. Okay? Keep that in mind. And the last point, and it's probably my shortest point. I kind of dabbled into it a little bit. Point number 4, pace yourself. This hobby, like any other hobby, and Reggie touched up on this too, you can find yourself getting into a financial bind. Sometimes we feel that we need to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, this person got this. This video came out. I totally don't care what other people get. Now, was I always like that? Probably not. Sometimes you get drawn up in it. It's very easy to get drawn up into those things. Like, oh, this person got this person got that. I'm happy where I'm at. It's taken me a while to get here. And sometimes things, like I said, you got to pace yourself. Sometimes slow and steady wins the race. It's not necessarily something that I immediately got to, boom, win all the time. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, but pace yourself. And you'll find more success in getting the things that you want and being satisfied with the things that you wind up getting than you would if you just quickly try to get everything and put yourself in a very, very bad situation. I'll tell one little story and then I'll end this video because I think it's gone on a little long, like almost 20 minutes. And they're like, I hope you're still with me. 10 minutes, more than the Reggie's video. But I can remember a time when this one guy I knew in the EC, it was an EC collector who was just going crazy getting every EC he could possibly get, and wound up spending a fortune. And he got the biggest book that he could get in the EC collection. I think it was one of those annuals that are very rare and very expensive. Wound up getting it, and a month later he had to sell it because of medical bills. I mean, you got to be careful. You never know. Something can happen. If you're in a position where you're spending a lot of money, and if something were to happen with your car or whatever, you can't predict, right? You might want to pace yourself a little bit. Just be careful. That's my advice to new and old collectors. I hope you found it useful. But, if you have a comment, please leave it, and I try to get back to you. But again, thank you for watching this video, and thank you for watching all my videos. Take care, everybody, and be safe.